Every Sunday I'm front center, looking forward to the playoffs. And I keep me a double wings, cause you know I gotta have it. Yeah, they say I'm just a fan. What? Well, I say I'm a fanatic. And I fast forward commercial too. I ain't going to the bathroom. You know where I'm at, I ain't hard to find. You can catch me in the lab room.
Who else could it be? Me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to Thursday Night Football Overtime. Do you know how good it feels to just say that? Woo! Feels good to be back. Feels good. And the Kansas City Chiefs, the City Chiefs are back like cook crack, doing what they do best, running up the scoreboard. 34 points tonight in not the pouring rain, but it wasn't the best conditions out there. Game started out pretty fair, and it got progressively worse as the night wore on, but that didn't stop the Chiefs from putting up points. And this seemed a lot like the AFC Divisional round playoff game, not in the sense that the Texans were up big or anything like that, but just the onslaught. 7 points to start the game for the Texans. They seemed like they were going to make this a ball game. Remember, the Texans beat the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City, in Arrowhead last year during the regular season. So it's not like this team isn't capable of going into Arrowhead and winning, but after those 7 points, things went downhill very quickly for the Houston Texans in this game. It was fun to see football back on the screen again. It felt like we haven't had football in about 2 years. And I know that's a very, very big understatement, because we had football. It's the normal amount of time that we would have been without football, except we would have had some preseason action. And most of us bitch and complain about preseason. Oh, we don't need preseason. They need to shorten it. It's trash. Boy, we would have took some preseason this year, though. So this felt great. And I'm going to say this right now. I don't want to forget this. So I'm going to say it right now before I get into my analysis of this game. Look, the NFL lied to me, man. I don't like being lied to. They told me, hey, the amount of fans in some of these stadiums it's gonna be minuscule. It's not gonna have an impact on the game. These are some unfair advantages that are gonna be happening in some of these stadiums. Did you hear the crowd tonight? I get it. It doesn't sound the same as 70,000 screaming fans on 3rd and 7 in a crucial situation. But shit, those 17,000 sounded damn good to me. And they said they weren't pumping in any extra noise. They were making enough noise to make a difference, okay? Now, I know there are going to be some stadiums there's only 7,000. I'm telling you, if those 7,000 people in unison make noise, it's going to be enough of a difference. I'm just saying, those 17,000 seem to be making quite an impact early in this football game. And so Jacksonville's going to have an advantage. They're going to have some fans in the stadium. You know, they don't give a shit in Florida. So they're going to have fans in the stands. But a lot of these stadiums, Baltimore, I know that's another place that said they were going to allow some fans in the stadium early in the season. There are going to be some teams with a distinct advantage. Remember, we were thinking, well, home and away won't matter this year. Bullshit. If teams are allowing fans in the stands, and some aren't and some aren't, which we already know is going to be the case, there are going to be some fans making some noise and some teams with a slight advantage at home. Anyway, I digress. Let's get into this game. It was a fun one, man. Chiefs started off slow, but as normal, per usual, the Chiefs revved it up offensively, and they got some new toys. And I told you, what was the one thing we didn't need? Okay, we didn't need the Chiefs to get more weaponry on the offensive side of the football, but that's what they did with their first round pick this year, getting Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He was spectacular tonight, and this team is just so dangerous offensively. And you know what's crazy is we overlooked their defense, but their defense isn't half bad with Steve Spagnuolo pulling the strings, man. What a difference he makes. I remember for years they were trying to get rid of Bob Sutton out there, and they bring in Spags, and he's made all the world difference out there. Guys are flying around, and they're making plays. And what more can I say? The Chiefs are going to be a handful to deal with yet again this year. I think the torch and baton has officially been passed in the AFC to the Chiefs. You could have said that last year when they won the chip, but I think it's official now. They're the new team that everyone's going. See, we all love the Chiefs now. They're fun. They're innovative. Andy Reid is the guy you love. How can you not love the big red machine? You're going to hate the Chiefs in about 3 years when they keep winning, and you'll be like, all right, I'm sick of these bastards. Get them out of here. They're going to be the new New England Patriots. They're not going to do things the Patriot way, so you're not going to hate them because of their antics. You're just going to hate them because they're good, similar to Golden State. They're going to be the Golden State Warriors of the NFL if you're not careful with all this talent that they have offensively. And let's get into the breakdown, shall we? And I thought all of the goodwill started for the Chiefs tonight when they decided to go for it. And this was a risky proposition. It was funny because Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth were screaming about how this is the right decision. 4th and 1 from your own 34. I said, wait a minute. When did 4th and 1 from your own 34 become a good decision to go for it? Now, I get it. It's the Chiefs. They can do whatever they like. Yeah, they're the Chiefs. They can do whatever the hell they want because they can be down 17-0, okay? They're going to come back more likely than not and beat your ass. Score 30 unanswered points in a matter of a quarter and a half. So they can get away with that kind of chicanery. But my lowly little Washington football team, we can't go for it 4th and 1 from our own 34. That's not a good thing. I don't give a damn what the numbers say. You can't afford to do that. So I was shocked that they went for it that early. It's not like the Texans are some kind of offensive juggernaut and you got to keep pace. It would have been a lot different if the shoe were on the other foot and the Texans decided, shit, we better go for it. You know, we don't want any trouble with these guys. They can rev it up and score a bunch of points. Maybe we should go for it here. But that was the Chiefs going for it. I thought that was a little risky. They pick it up with a fullback dive from Sherman, and really the rest was history. After that, they went down the field, scored a touchdown. If Demarcus Robinson could catch early in the ball game, they would have already had 7 on the scoreboard. But they go on a 16-play drive after converting that first down on 4th and 1 from their own 34-yard line, and they really never looked back after that point. They were outstanding the remainder of that first half. Got a little bit of help from the Texans missing a field goal that would have maybe given them a little momentum heading into the halftime break. And so I thought the Chiefs did what we are accustomed to seeing them do, which is, spread the football around. And that's the thing that's so scary with these guys is that you don't know who it's going to be on any given night. Tonight it was Samuel Watkins and Travis Kelce. Later on in the game, they sprinkled in a little bit of Tyreek Hill, and it was Edwards-Helaire on the ground. I mean, next week, it could be Tyreek Hill. It could be Demarcus Robinson. The week after that, it could be Chris Pringle, whoever the hell they want to throw in there, or Mecole Hardman. Like, they're just scratching the surface, okay? And that's the thing that makes this team so scary is that, they're one of these teams like the Miami Heat in the NBA where any given night, it doesn't have to be Jimmy Butler. Anybody can give you 20, and 5 or 6 guys could be in double figures, and they spread the wealth. And that's the Chiefs. And I want to say this too. All the guys that they've paid, man, are they worth the money or what? And they still got one more to pay in Tyreek Hill, and he will get his money. But they've made some really good decisions on who to let walk, who to pay. They paid the Honey Badger, and a lot of people looked at that deal and said, whoa, that's a lot of money for a safety. Remember, that was the year of the safety getting paid. Landon Collins got a fat deal. Earl Thomas got a fat deal. How'd that work out in Baltimore? And the Honey Badger got a massive deal in Kansas City, and he's been worth his weight in gold. They just paid Travis Kelce this offseason. They just paid Patrick Mahomes this offseason. And they just paid Chris Jones. All of those guys balled tonight. All of those guys are premier, perennial ballers. And Jones is one of the best interior defensive tackles in the league. Not just in the AFC, not just in the AFC West, in the league. And when you look at Travis Kelce, he's a top 3 tight end in this league as well. You can't put too many guys ahead of him. Honestly, I would just put Kittle ahead of him, and he's the number 2 tight end in the league for me. And so Mahomes is the best in the business. They've got elite players everywhere, do these Chiefs. And so I just said, man, it's amazing to watch all the guys who they've paid ball. That's how you do it in this league. That's how you win in this league. You pick the right guys to pay. You draft well to complement the guys that you've paid, and you keep the party going, and that's what the Chiefs have done. How about the rookies tonight? How about the rooks for the Chiefs, man? I talked about L'Jarius Sneed in the draft wrap-up series. If you haven't checked it out, what are you waiting on? I've done all 32 teams. Draft wrap-up series available for your consumption. Go check that out. But talked about L'Jarius Sneed. And I said, man, this is a guy, uber talented, out of Louisiana Tech, a guy that played his first 3 years at the cornerback position. They moved him to safety for his senior season, had 3 interceptions last year. What were the Chiefs going to do? This guy ran a 4.37 40, extra athletic, but, some limitations in his game. Wasn't sure. I said, look, man, he might be better served as a safety at the next level, but the guy can run. He's got a long frame, and he's a guy that has ball skills, so maybe he can play the cornerback position at the next level. I wasn't sure, but I said you got versatility similar to what you had in Kendall Fuller, a guy that's versatile enough to be able to play some corner, maybe a little bit of safety. Whatever you need in a pinch, L'Jarius Sneed can give it to you. I wasn't expecting him to have to play week 1 and to come out and ball the way that he did. And one of my biggest knocks on him is that he doesn't find the football down the field. I said he needed a new pair of brakes. I went back to my notes to look at what I had written down about him. And I said, needs some new brake pads. Can't stop when the football is in the air. Well, he looked damn good tonight, did L'Jarius Sneed. He balled out of control. He was around the football consistently. I loved his coverage. He found the football consistently. Got his hands on a couple of them, including a pick. That was a gimme pick, though. You can go ahead and gift that one to Tyrann Mathieu for the pressure that he applied to Deshaun Watson while he was throwing the football. But that doesn't matter. L'Jarius Sneed had a debut he'll never forget, and a game ball that he'll be taking home and showing to his kids for years to come. Phenomenal start to his career. And again, he wasn't supposed to start. They've got a guy suspended, another guy injured, and here comes a rookie stepping in like a 6-year vet, playing top-notch ball against some quality receivers for the Houston Texans. I tip my cap. Game ball goes to L'Jarius Sneed, and he's got to split that game ball with another rookie in Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Talked about him at the top of the show. Damn. Just more talent on top of talent on top of talent on top of talent. Clyde Edwards-Helaire comes in and shows why the Chiefs were really excited to get him at the back end of the first round. I told you he was a perfect fit, like hand in glove in Kansas City, and he showed his ass off tonight. There was a little bit of the wiggle. You saw a great move to break a defender off. I want to say it was Justin Reed on that touchdown run. Woo, you better watch yourself, Justin. Broke him off something proper. Left his ass at around the 20-yard line and scampered into the end zone. You saw the power on a late run. Although he didn't get in, he had like 3 tries after that from about the 2-yard line. But you saw the power on that particular run. Lowered the shoulder on 2 Texans defenders. Powered through them. Stumbled all the way down to about the 2 or 3-yard line. And you saw the pass catching ability too. Caught it out of the backfield a couple of times. He's going to be a problem in this offense. It feels like they've got Kareem Hunt all over again, and that's problematic for the rest of the league. Kudos to that young man, and he gets half of the game ball from tonight's game, as well as the 2 rookies, one on the offensive side, one on the defensive side, balled out for the Chiefs. It was another virtuoso performance for Mahomes. 24, 32, 2 and some change, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. The one mistake that he did make, the Texans helped him out, and Bradley Roby didn't even need to hold Pringle on that particular play. He wasn't going to catch that football. As a matter of fact, it was going to be picked off. It was triple coverage on 4th and 1. And, Mahomes, he just, man, is that guy surgical, man. That touchdown pass in the back of the end zone to Tyreek Hill, that was a laser shot, and it's raining outside. So he's in mid-season form in week 1. Took him a little while to heat up, but man, that offense got going. They revved it up, and they put up 34 tonight with a little assistance from the defense. Good start to the season for the Chiefs. They're 1-0. Much of what we expected tonight. These teams that play and host that Thursday night game that win the Super Bowl the year prior, they generally take care of business at the crib on Thursday Night Football. The Chiefs do that tonight, 34-24 over the 34-20 over the Houston Texans. Meanwhile, you go to the Texans in this football game. We killed the Texans for the trade, and I'm still asking, man, Deshaun Watson looked like he missed his best friend tonight. I'm not going to lie to you. It's cool to have David Johnson, and David Johnson looked pretty damn good tonight, and we killed them for this trade because it wasn't equal value. But as I've learned in the NBA, you never get equal value for trading a star. But you can try, and in the NFL, you usually get 2 first-rounders for a star. Okay? Ask the Minnesota Vikings. Ask the Oakland Raiders, now the Vegas Raiders. You know, even though the Giants, I don't know if they got 2 first-rounders, but they got some good stuff. They got some players. You know, they got a player that was a first-round pick and a first-round pick, so it felt like 2 first-round picks. Whatever the case may be, it didn't feel like they got good value. David Johnson looked good tonight, and if he can get back to his form of 2016, then you'll feel good. You'll feel better, but you'll never feel like you got equal value because you took away the best receiver. And again, we could argue about 1A, 1B with Michael Thomas, whatever. He's still one of the 2 best receivers in the league off of his team, and I get why you did it, but you didn't get enough. But David Johnson looked good tonight. And you know what I also looked at and I said to myself, that's a pretty nice formation, is the Johnson and Johnson formation. Johnson and Johnson. You know, and it was short-lived because one of the Johnsons got hurt. And at one point, both Johnsons got hurt. I'm not going to keep saying Johnson tonight, so you guys calm down, okay? But, you know, at one point, they had Johnson and Johnson in the backfield. I'm like, this is a pretty tasty formation here. You can do a lot of things with this. Both of these guys can catch it out of the backfield. You can create some mismatches. You can motion these guys out of the backfield, get a one-on-one matchup with a backer or a safety. There's a lot of intriguing things. They even had a gun run out of that where David Johnson was the lead blocker for Duke Johnson, who got an 8-yard gain. There's a lot of cute things you can do out of that Johnson and Johnson formation. But again, they got to stay healthy. And at one point, they were looking at David Johnson on the sideline. He ultimately came back. And at another point, Duke Johnson was out and he left the game and did not return with a knee injury. So, you know, that's always been the knock on Duke Johnson, not able to stay healthy. But they got some things in Houston, you know. And what I also noticed and jotted down is they got a ton of speed at receiver. Now, you know, you subtracted a plus playmaker in Nuke Hopkins, you know, when you traded him away. But what you did add by trading him away was more speed at the receiver position. All of those guys, Randall Cobb, even at his ripe old age, can still run. You add on Brandon Cooks, who is a certified Blazer. And obviously, and we know at some point he's probably going to have some kind of soft tissue injury or an ankle injury. But Will Fuller is an absolute bona fide speedster. So they can run at the receiver position, but they didn't separate. And that's always been the knock on Brandon Cooks is like he's fast, but does he really separate? And you didn't really see him getting away from L'Jarius Sneed tonight. None of those guys really did. And Kenny Stills can run too. They've got weapons for Deshaun Watson. There isn't a shortage of weapons out there. But the offensive line did not look good tonight. And I look, some of that you have to give credit to the Chiefs. And I want to stress this. You know, between Frank Clark and Chris Jones and Spagnuolo just getting freaky in his bag of tricks, going with a zero blitz and just throwing the kitchen sink at Watson at times. They put pressure on his ass. He was running for his life back there a lot of the night. They sacked him at least 4 times. Got to give the Chiefs defense some credit for being able to apply pressure on Deshaun Watson. But at the same time, got to be able to hold up and give your guys some time to locate the receivers and get them the football, especially against this Chiefs secondary that was shorthanded. You know, you got to be able to take advantage of that, and they frankly weren't able to do that tonight. And again, some of that credit needs to go to the Chiefs, but some of that also has to fall on the shoulders of this Texans offense and the offensive line in particular. But boy, did they miss Nuke, man. Nuke is the kind of guy that it doesn't really matter. And if you would have put him against this secondary, if he would have looked up and saw L'Jarius Sneed in front of him, his eyes would have lit up. They would have had them some fun out there had Nuke still been there, but no Nuke Hopkins, and now you got to find a way to spread the wealth amongst all of these other wide receivers. So that was something else I noticed. You know what? I like Justin. Reed. He's a good football player, man. I really like him. I thought it was a great breakup in the end zone on Robinson, Demarcus Robinson on that first possession. Stuck his hand in there, and that's one-on-one with a speedster wide receiver too, and he can run as well. We know that, but to be able to open up, run, and stay in phase and get your hand in there, that was a tremendous play. He made some other good plays down by the line. I just like Justin Reed on the little play that the Chiefs love to run with Travis Kelce coming across the formation out into the flats. He tackles Kelce there for a no-gainer. He's a good football player. I like Justin Reed a lot. You know who else was impressive tonight? Early on especially, and I killed the Texans for this trade when they traded Clowney, because we know Bill O'Brien never seems to get equal value for these star players, but that Jacob Martin dude, he has some talent, man. And I remember some Seahawks fans and some Texans fans when the trade first happened telling me, man, this Jacob Martin dude's he's no slouch. He's no Clowney, but he's no slouch either. They were right. This guy has some talent off the edge, man. He ran past Mitchell Schwartz like he was standing in place. And Mitchell Schwartz is a guy that generally doesn't get beat. So that was pretty damn impressive by Jacob Martin. They've got some stuff, man. I like the kid that they drafted out of Florida this year coming off the edge, and Jonathan Grenard. They could have some stuff if they put all of this together and these guys develop. You know, they could have some stuff in Houston. Along with Whitney Merciless and all of those guys. They just got to put it all together. And question, is that the same Anthony Weaver that used to play in the league along the defensive line as your defensive coordinator and defensive line coach? I don't know the answer to that. I'll do some deep diving and some digging, but he looks pretty young, like a guy that used to play in the league. It's pretty damn interesting if that is the same Anthony Weaver. He doesn't look like he's going to be a bad defensive coordinator either. I thought he did some good things, especially early in the ball game. But again, this Chiefs offense is just so dynamic. It's hard to stop these guys. But I thought they had some good things. And so those were my biggest takeaways. Deshaun was running around tonight for his life. Not enough time back there. He always felt like he was under duress. I thought they did some good things in the run game, though. Some good hits in the run game tonight with David Johnson. He looks good. We'll see if he can stay healthy. We'll see what happens with Duke Johnson and the extent of that injury, because if both of those guys are healthy, I like the mix that they have in that backfield. So the Texans are interesting. They weren't going to win this game. I don't think they're going to win next week either. But when it's all said and done, we're going to look up. They're going to be 9-7, 10-6, somewhere in that general vicinity, right in the mix in the AFC South. And like Bill O'Brien seems to always be able to do, because Deshaun Watson is his quarterback, he'll pull a rabbit out of his hat. They'll win 10 games, win the division, host a playoff game. And even though we think Bill O'Brien is a clown, he'll be back in Houston yet again. So with that being said, let's get to some comments and see what you guys have to say about the game. Nick Riley writes, "What it do, Lou? How you been, bro? What a first career game for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. 6 yards per carry, 119. Texans out there trying to arm tackle this man. Way too much. Ain't happening." What's going on, Nick? Your boy is maintaining over here, man. I appreciate you stopping through to chop it up with me tonight. Remember, if you're out there and you haven't already done so, what are you waiting on? Subscribe to the Louie T Network for more great content. Also, remember, if you want your comment read in the comment section, go ahead and use the hashtag LouieTLive to potentially have your comment read on the air. Also, if you haven't already done so, smash that like button. You know, show your boys some love. And we'll talk a little bit more later on about some of the things we have going on the Louie T Network. But Clyde Edwards-Helaire was out of his mind tonight. And we knew he was capable of this. But to do it right off the bat, first game of the season, I thought that was a great look for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Nick Riley says, that rookie L'Jarius Sneed looking damn good out there. Watson is going to be running for his life all over again. I talked about L'Jarius Sneed. I talked about Clyde Edwards-Helaire and how these two rookies balled out of control tonight. and good for them. Great job of the Chiefs identifying talent and guys that can come on the field and help you right away. A lot of times teams draft players with the mindset of we're going to develop these guys. These guys came in, worked their asses off in the offseason, and came out ready to play when their numbers were called and helped the Chiefs get the win in week number 1. And Deshaun Watson, I hope this isn't a sign of things to come for him this year, because they've got some issues on their hands if they can't protect better than they did tonight. And the Chiefs, even though the Chiefs have some talented football players, Chris Jones, as I mentioned, one of the best interior defensive linemen in the league. Frank Clark's good. He's not elite, but they can get after the quarterback, but they're going to see teams that can get after the quarterback even more so than the Chiefs did tonight. And if this is the best they can do, yeah, Watson will be running for his life for much of the season. Got a super chat. Thank you for the super chat, Derek B. Greatly appreciate you. Remember, if you want to jump to the front of the line, and I didn't see this initially, I apologize. Super chats are the way to do it. You want to jump in front of all the comments that have been made already, super chats are the way to do it. My man Derek B writes, it smells, it feels like football. Well, guess what? A wise man told me once before, if it looks, smells, and feels, it must be football. I love it, man. Want more of it. Can't wait till Sunday until all of the teams kick it off. And, of course, you'll have 2 games on Monday as well. This opening week is always so glorious. And then you'll get college football on Saturday, Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Boy, we missed you. Woo-hoo. Anyway, thank you for the super chat, Derek B. Silver V. My man Silver Villain says, the Texans look as if they have a Hopkins hangover. Do you think the offensive funk will last all year long? No, I don't think it will. They'll be just fine. They've got enough talent. The problem is, however, this offensive line needs to be better. I think they'll be fine. Watson always finds a way. I've said this. There are only about 3 or 4 elite quarterbacks that lift the play of others around them. And it's not like a Green Bay situation, for instance, where Aaron Rodgers has to lift the play of guys like Jake Kumaro, or Valdez Scantling or guys like that. There's actually talent. I ran through the list of receivers. There's talented guys around Deshaun Watson. There are playmakers there. They'll be fine. They just got to protect better. That's what it all boils down to. It felt like in every crucial situation tonight, or even on 2nd down and 7, after they felt like they got a good gain on 1st down, he was running for his life. So they've got to protect better up front, or they've got to get the ball out of his hands quicker. One of the two, really preferably both. But they've got to protect better moving forward. But yeah, they're going to miss DeAndre Hopkins. There's no doubt about that. But they've got enough talent to be able to withstand his loss. Got another comment from Storm. Says, I get that it's ring night, but I still don't see how anyone can stop this Chiefs offense. They're just so fast, man. Yes, they are. You're going to get some teams that don't necessarily stop them, but you can slow them down. To me, the best way, and the Titans gave us the blueprint last year on what you have to do for this team. Number one is you need to get pressure on Mahomes. If you can do that, you're halfway home. Now, easier said than done with all the speed that we talked about, but and his ability to get the ball out of his hands quickly. But if you can get pressure on Mahomes, we saw what the 49ers did last year in the Super Bowl. You get pressure on Mahomes, you can slow this offense down. That's the key. You cut the head off, the body will die. Mahomes is the head that powers this attack. However, if you really want to have a true game plan going into game, now you still got to go out and execute, is you got to win the time of possession battle. You got to keep the football away from this Chiefs offense. Hope that they're cold. Hope that DeMarcus Robinson drops the football a couple of times early on. Maybe Kelsey gives you a drop like he did in the playoff game. Remember, in that playoff game, nobody wanted to catch the football versus the Texans when they fell down 24-7 early on. Nobody wanted to catch the football. And, if you keep them on the bench, maybe they clam up a bit, get a little cold on the sidelines, and you keep the ball away from that high-octane offense. We've seen that not work, however, because if you give them a glimmer of hope, they'll take it and run with it. But that's the blueprint. Keep the ball away from the Chiefs, score touchdowns, don't kick field goals, and cross your fingers that that's enough. That's the way that you have to approach them. I thought the Texans were a little too conservative. And look, I'm not going to kill Bill O'Brien for this because I understand what he's looking to do, but the Chiefs go for it on 4th and 1 from their own 34. Meanwhile, the Texans decide to punt on 4th and 4 from their own 44. Like, you look at this and you're thinking to yourself, it's the Chiefs, bruh. On the road, bruh. Like, seriously, at some point, I need you to grow a pair and understand that this isn't the Jacksonville Jaguars or the Tennessee Titans or the Indianapolis Colts you're playing here. You're playing the most explosive, dynamic offense in the league. They're going to score points. Their first 3 and out of the night came with about 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and the only reason that they probably punted is because they were looking to just burn clock at that point. Like, you have to understand who your opponent is and know that, look, we may not get this, and they may turn around and score, but guess what? More likely than not, it's like a 65-70% chance you punt the ball, and they're going to score anyway, like they did on the 16-play drive or the drive that started at their own 5-yard line. More likely than not, they're going to take the ball and score any damn way. So whether you give it to them at your 44 or their own 5-yard line, they're probably going to score anyway. So how about you roll the dice and try to keep the football away from their offense, and, oh, by the way, maybe score some points at the end of the drive when you're done. So I thought they were a little conservative there, but I'm not going to kill him because it's the first week of the season, and it's not like the Chiefs were up 30-7 at that point. It was still a reasonable ball game, and you didn't want to do anything stupid that may ignite the offense, but I thought he could have been a little bit more aggressive. You saw what the Chiefs were doing, but everybody's not the Chiefs, so I don't really like doing that. But anyway, I digress. Thank you for the comment, Storm. JP says, reunited and it feels so good. Football is back, y'all. Amen, brother. Amen, JP, indeed. Thank you for that comment. Got another one here from Nick Riley. My man Nick and Knight writes, definitely gives a home field advantage for sure. All it takes is a few fans to get a stadium rocking. My Vikings are supposed to allow fans in as well. I'm telling you, that's some old cheating bullshit because there are a lot of teams not having any fans in the stadium. Look, my team, we wouldn't have had anybody in the stadium anyway. So, and it might have changed this year with Ron Rivera taking over, but I know there are a lot of stadiums around the league where home field advantage actually matters. In Minnesota, that's a distinct advantage to play in that dome, keep all that sound inside. Can be a little bit discerning for a team that's not used to playing in that kind of environment. Throw a couple thousand fans in there, whether it's 7 or 10 or 15, and they get to rocking it all at once. Man, that makes a hell of a difference. We heard it tonight, and we know Arrowhead can be one of the loudest stadiums in football. They were up there at one point in the Guinness World Record books for one of the loudest outdoor stadiums. So we know they can rev it up, and so they allowed, what was it, 17,000 in there. They got it rocking, man. I know that first third down in the game, I was like, shit. It sounds like it's about 50, 60,000 out there. It was only 17, but they got it popping out there. So it's going to be some teams with an advantage this year. That's for damn sure. David Johnson writes, this is why Deshaun Watson will never take the next step as an elite quarterback. Deshaun will have his career wasted like Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers got a Super Bowl ring. If Deshaun can get just one, that's all he needs is one. It'll validate it. But you're right. This is the kind of stuff that makes you worry about him. And, I was talking to my man Sean Mack, and he talked about how Deshaun Watson didn't deserve the contract he got. And I was like, what? What? Do you know what this guy has to go through in Houston? One, his coach is Bill O'Brien. That's number one. Two, he's got an offensive line that usually is leaky and has guys draped all over him. He's getting kicked in the face while he's throwing touchdown passes and stuff. Like, this guy has to do a lot for this team to even have a shot. Could you imagine the Texans without Deshaun Watson? He's an elite quarterback already. The question is, can he take the next step with this football team? And, losing a guy like Newt Hopkins doesn't make it any easier, but we'll see what happens with Deshaun Watson. It's early. It's week 1. We do this every year where fans overreact to week 1. There's a lot of football left to be played. I talk about this being a marathon and not a sprint. And so they'll be fine. We do this with the Texans every year. Remember when they got their asses handed to them by the Denver Broncos? Oh, my God, everybody went nuts. Drew Lock threw for 800 yards and 97 touchdowns, and they were getting crushed like 31-3 in the first half. They were fine. They still won the division. They won a playoff game. They were up 24-7 in Kansas City. They'll be fine. They'll be, as long as Deshaun Watson is healthy, and we can't guarantee that after seeing what we saw tonight, but as long as he's healthy, they're going to win 9-10 games because that's what elite quarterbacks do. They will their team to victories, and they'll be in the postseason more likely than not. But we'll see what happens. Gregory Lightbody writes, I hope AG balls like Clyde did on Sunday. I feel like AG is more athletic than Clyde. He is more athletic, but that doesn't mean he's a better football player than Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They're two different types of players. Helaire is a true running back. Gibson is not. So there's a lot that Gibson has to learn about the position. But I was thinking the same thing in my head watching the game. I was like, man, I hope our youngins come in and have an impact like that. We've got a bunch of rookies and young guys that'll be playing on Sunday. I'd love to see those guys have an impact. We'll talk more about that tomorrow on Washington Football Nightly. Real Fact says, this Mahomes guy still at it. When is this guy going to hit a slump? Damn. The closest thing you get to a slump with Mahomes was last year when he got injured. Remember, he kind of had a little bit of a malaise when he came back, and really it wasn't him. It was just the team overall. They lost to the Titans when he first came back, and you were thinking, oh, shit. They should have lost to Detroit on the road if you remember that game. That was a shootout. Detroit had him dead to rights and let him off the hook. They were struggling when he first came back, but then he hit his stride, and it's like after that, it's like he never left, and he was back in his MVP form. And, yeah, I don't know if a slump's ever coming with this guy. Like, he's the truth. It's the reason why he got that deal that he got, and he's good, man. He's better than good. I've always said that Aaron Rodgers was the best combination of pure passer, athleticism, throwing on the run, pinpoint accuracy, ball velocity, all of those things rolled into one package I'd ever seen in a quarterback. Mahomes is quickly approaching Aaron Rodgers status for me, and he's going to pass him here soon if he continues to do the things that he's doing on a week-in, week-out basis. This guy's amazing. JP says, my boy Clyde Edwards-Helaire did work on that Texans defense. Hashtag LSU proud. Yeah, that boy was unstoppable tonight. Kudos to him for coming out and balling in his first game. JP says, my prediction for Bill O'Brien getting fired after week 4 looks like a real possibility now after that shit show from Houston. Nah, not happening. He has a ton of control in Houston, and I don't think they're going to have a terrible start to the season. They may not win next week. They may start 0-2. They'll be fine. I think they're going to be just all right when it's all said and done. JP also says Watson is going to get crushed because of that stinking-ass offensive line if they're not careful. Again, there are ways to mitigate faulty play up front. You can slide protection. You can keep a back in. You can get rid of the football, which I think they're going to ultimately have to do is start using a little bit more of the quick passing game. They've got athletes. You want to get the football into their hands. All of their receivers can run. All of their running backs can run. So, and their tight ends can run too. I love Atkins. I loved him when he came out of Central Florida. So they've got a bunch of athletes out there running around. Daniel and Fells isn't a bad tight end either. They've got they've got a lot of stuff out there around Watson. He's just going to need to have time to get them the football and spread it around. They'll be better. Again, the Chiefs made it tough on them tonight, and they've got some good football players on that side of the football as well. So don't discount that either. Let's see. Nick Riley says, I really like Ross Blacklock as well. Thought he was a steal of a pick for the Texans. We'll see about Ross Blacklock. I wasn't the biggest Ross Blacklock fan. He's got some talent, but I think there's a lot of potential in Ross Blacklock. And as we all know, Wise Man once told me, your potential is going to get me fired. I want to see that manifest itself in the real production for him. I need to see it, but the guys definitely have that guy's definitely got some talent. RG3 hashtag says, this looks like Bill O'Brien's last year as Texans head coach. We'll see. I'm not buying that, but we'll see. Like I said, we overreact. You guys do this every single year. You overreact to week one. I'm not tripping. All right. If this wasn't impressive by the Texans, it's not the worst performance we've seen in week one. They're going to be fine. Every year we talk about Bill O'Brien getting fired. Every year he gets more power. Every year they win the division. Every year they go to the playoffs. They got Deshaun Watson. As long as he's got number 4 under center, Bill O'Brien isn't going anywhere. It's going to be like Marvin Lewis in Cincinnati. They'll be good enough to get to the postseason. The only difference is they've actually got an elite quarterback, which means they can take a step forward a little bit further than Cincinnati ever went in the postseason because they've got an elite quarterback. But the real question is the defense going to be good enough? You know, I thought last year they should have lost to Buffalo. I thought the Bills did some great things in that playoff game against this Texans defense. And we saw what the Chiefs did to that Texans defense. The defense needs to step up as well. We can sit here and talk about the offensive line. We can talk about no Nuke Hopkins on this roster. We can talk about a lot of different things, but this offense is just fine. Okay? This defense has to play better. And I get it, it's the Chiefs. Like, I'm not going to kill them for week one. It's the Chiefs. Most teams are going to struggle against this offense. But I need them to be better when they're not playing the Chiefs. And at times last year, they gave it up to some teams. I talked about Drew Lock and the Broncos coming in there and stomping a mud hole in them. They've got to be better on the defensive side of the football. Point blank, end of discussion. Got a comment here from Atlas. Atlas writes, I was legit shocked to see Bradley Roby and Vernon Hargreaves III as starting cornerbacks for the Texans. Feels like they're on the edge of rebuild and while they're pretending to compete. Bradley Roby isn't bad as a corner. Now, Vernon Hargreaves, I know you've got a little bit of animus towards him, being a Bucs fan. And so Hargreaves, he actually didn't play bad for them last year when he came over after being released by the Buccaneers. They're fine football players. They're solid football players. You can do a hell of a lot worse at the cornerback position, can the Texans. So, Bradley Roby, I've always liked his game. He's not an elite corner by any stretch of the imagination, but he's a solid corner. You can win with Bradley Roby on the outside. Hargreaves still remains to be seen. Protect Sports writes, Texas got whooped tonight. And LOL, he says, Helaire 8 and Snead balled the F out. Sheesh, LOL. You know, if this were a normal, like a week 7 game, I probably would have jumped on here really early. I mean, at one point, I think we were 31-7. I believe this score had gotten to at one point. So I probably would have jumped on at that point. But it was week 1. I was just happy to see football. There was no way I was going to spoil it for any of you guys out there. And hell, I was just happy to see football on my television screen. So I wasn't checking out early either. But the Black L.A.B writes, what it do, Lou? Football, baby. He says, AZ's, I'm back. It's back. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I love it, man. It's back. Man, it feels like it's been gone for so long, and it just feels so good to be back, man. Hirsch Patel says, these drops were bad. There were some drops in the football game. You know, the Chiefs had their own fair share of them, but the one early in the game, I want to say it was Fuller. Boy, that hurt. You know, that first throw by Watson was a beaut. If that was Nuke, I'm not saying. I'm just saying, if that's Nuke, that's a catch. That's a nice 25 piece on the second play of the game. Instead, it's 3rd and 5. And I think they ultimately converted that, if I'm not mistaken. They might not have converted. I think they did convert, but it doesn't matter. That was a 25-yard gain left on the field. I need that. I need it. So, there were some plays left out on the field if you're the Texans that you got to have. And we've never pretended that Will Fuller had the most legitimate set of mitts. That's never been his thing. He's a deep threat. But the knock on him coming out of Notre Dame, and I'm a Notre Dame Fighting Irish fan, was, hey, man, the hands are not A1 official. Okay, he needs some work on the jugs machine. And that's one you got to have. That was feathery soft. That was drugstore cotton soft, too. That wasn't even a bean shot. That wasn't a BB. That was a feathery, soft drop job. And he dropped it. He said, yeah, it's a drop job, so I'm going to drop it. Not cool. Anyhow, JP says, can't wait to see the Predator put Wentz's ass in the dirt without hurting him, of course, and beat those damn dirty birds on Sunday. Yeah, boy. We'll see, man. I'm excited, as I know most of you are, to watch your favorite team play if these two teams weren't your favorite teams tonight. Pretorius says, Texas protection was sketchy and offensive play calling was suspect and a lot of missed opportunities from dropped passes. Absolutely. I thought Watson underthrew a pass, wide open receiver. If he lays it out there, that guy probably runs into the end zone. There were some mistakes made. But at the end of the day, both teams made some mistakes. I think the Texans' mistakes came a little bit later in the game. I talked about the drop pass at the beginning of the game, but for the most part, they were going to lose this football game. Like, those mistakes didn't stop them. Like, we didn't have a dropped touchdown, a 55-yard drop touchdown, and 2 plays later they had to punt. Like, that's not what happened in this game. Excuse me. The plays that were missed on the field by the Texans were very minimal in terms of the impact that it had on this game. They were going to get their asses ran tonight, regardless of what they did. But it doesn't help. You can't play a team the caliber of the Chiefs and make mistakes and expect to win. They had a penalty on a play that was a good gainer for them that was called back. They had an interception in the end zone that was taken away that ultimately allowed the Chiefs to score a touchdown. I believe they scored on that possession. Like, these are the types of plays you can't have mistakes on and expect. They got away with a false start. Fulton jumped false start. It clearly jumped false start on the touchdown pass as well. Like, they made some mistakes. They got away with some mistakes. At the end of the day, they weren't going to win this football game. Let's see. Gregory Lightbody says the Texans might not have their first win until week 5 based off of their schedule. If they play like this, they could struggle. And I looked at their schedule, and it's not easy by any stretch of the imagination. And they got some tough games early on, but they're going to play better. And they're going to win a game that you're probably not expecting them to win in that first 5-game stretch. You talk about them not potentially getting a win till week 5. They're going to win a game before you think they are going to win a game. They may win next week versus Baltimore for that matter. We'll see what happens, but this is a dangerous team. The Texans, don't get it twisted. This is a team capable of beating anybody in the league on any given Sunday, and this just wasn't their night, and the Chiefs are a really good football team. Let's see. Nick Riley says, shit, y'all will be right there with the Jags. The only one in the stands will be the mascot. Hey, even if the Jags have 2,000 fans show up, it'll still be better than most teams will have in NFL stadiums around the league. So there's still an advantage there. I get what you're saying, though, in Jacksonville. You're not wrong. You're not wrong there. Anyway, I digress. Got another super chat. This one is from Chris Devers. Thank you for the super chat, CD. Greatly appreciate you. My man CD writes, nope, paid Watson. That wouldn't happen with Dak. They need to stop playing and pay Dak Prescott. This is the funny thing that I find with teams and quarterbacks. And quarterbacks don't grow on trees. When you got a good one, don't be foolish and let guys walk out of your building, because you think you can find another guy. Like, these guys are hard to find. Now, some guys are better than others, and I don't think Dak Prescott is the kind of quarterback like a Deshaun Watson is that you can, hitch your team to his back and have him carry, the team. But you don't have to have Dak Prescott do that in Dallas. They have so much talent around him. It's dumb, okay? Andy Dalton could step in, and they probably could win 9 or 10 games with that roster, okay? So what I'm essentially saying, though, is on one hand, yeah, I can understand why you would let Dak walk because of all the talent. You've done a great job of surrounding this team with talent. Draft a rookie quarterback, put him on a rookie deal, and if this guy's any good, he'll come in with all this talent around him. He should be able to succeed. That's the thought, but it's not that simple. You have a guy that has proven that he can get it done in this league, at least during the regular season. We haven't seen Dak get it done in the postseason, but that may come down the line. How many years did it take Matt Ryan before he broke through? How many years did Matt Ryan go to the postseason before he finally won a postseason game? What was he, like 0-5 before they finally won a postseason game? It takes time sometimes, but Dak Prescott is a good quarterback. If I'm the Cowboys, and they're going to get a deal done. There's no way they're going to allow Dak Prescott to leave. I don't see that happening. Anyway, a guy says, Bryan Edwards and Henry Ruggs are starters. Yes, they are. And unfortunately for the Raiders, that wasn't the plan. But, Williams goes down, and all of a sudden, you got to have two rookies in the starting lineup. We'll see what those guys will do. Both of them had the potential to be ballers. So we'll see what those guys are able to do. My man rewrites some sloppiness early, Lou, but that was some good football. It was. And that's a great point you bring up, Ree, and I should have brought this up myself. I was expecting more penalties. It got a little sloppy late, I thought, with some penalties and some mistakes, drop balls, things of that nature. But I was expecting more penalties, more blunders, maybe some early timeouts. I was expecting a lot more sloppiness from both sides. I thought this was a clean football game. Did you see how fast the first half moved? It wasn't even 10 o'clock, and we had already hit halftime. It was like 9:45, and we were already at halftime, like 9:35. It was a fast-moving first half, and so that was a testament to just how clean of a game it was early on. And also I got to give Clete Blakeman and his crew. Clete Blakeman is one of the best in the business. His crew usually does a phenomenal job, and they usually keep it clean. And so I should have known this was going to be a well-officiated football game, not a lot of flags slowing it down. And you also have to give credit to the Texans and the Chiefs for not making a bunch of blunders as well. I thought it was a well-played game, too. Thank you for that comment, Ree. Hirsch Patel says, DJ got going early in the first half. Houston stopped running the ball as much when they started trailing, but I look forward to him having a pretty good season. Yeah, he was humming early, man, and he looked like the DJ of old. And really, even later in the game, to your point, they stopped running the ball, maybe even unnecessarily, because the game really was never out of control until that interception. After that interception, you could kind of see this thing slipping away after they were able to get in the end zone then. But he had it going early, and I thought they kind of got away from him a bit. And that's what the Chiefs can force you to do, though, because think about it. You get that touchdown by DJ early on, and then the Chiefs run off 17 straight to end the first half with a missed field goal by the Texans helping aid that. Then the Chiefs get the football to start the second half. They score another touchdown to go up 24, and then you get the interception, and now it's 31. So essentially what I'm telling you is after a few cracks in the first half, they didn't see the football essentially, but for 2 plays, I think it was the second play from scrimmage for the Texans in the second half when Watson threw that interception. And you go from being down 17-7 at half to 31-7 with only running 2 plays. So it kind of took him out of the game, but he did look good, and I think he's going to have a really good season this year. If he can stay healthy, I think that's a real legitimate possibility. Got another super chat. This one from my man, Chris Devers. CD, thank you for doubling up. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. CD, greatly appreciate you. CD writes, you said it. You've been down that road, and Dak doesn't have to, but it's a two-way street where he says, we have to have this. One quarterback, Stafford, and it would be under 25. I'm not a Stafford guy, but here's the thing. In this league, you pay elite quarterbacks. Is Dak elite? No. But everybody's getting paid now. Derek Carr got paid. Andy Dalton at one point got paid. Ryan Tannehill just got paid. These are not elite quarterbacks in this league, okay? Everybody gets paid in this league if you are good enough at the position. Bottom line is, I understand that you don't want to pay one guy X amount of dollars and eat up 13, 14, 15% of your cap. But that's the going rate for an NFL quarterback that is above average, and Dak Prescott is above average. Is he elite? No. But you don't have to be elite to get paid anymore in this league. Everybody's getting broken off. Everyone's getting paid. So all I'm saying is, with all the talent in Dallas, you could go hey, let's draft a rookie. Let's go and turn the keys over to Andy Dalton. With the amount of talent that we have, we should be able to win. Andy Dalton is not winning you a Super Bowl. I can assure you that. We don't know if Dak Prescott can win you a Super Bowl or not. I can assure you Andy Dalton ain't winning your shit. Okay? So you choose. You make the decision. If you're Dallas, if you're feeling froggy, then leap. Okay? Leap. Take a leap of faith. Go draft you a youngin'. All right, which you haven't had a lot of success. And I always remind Cowboys fans of this. Because I dare you, I double dog dare you to go back down that road that you went down after Troy Aikman retired. Go down that road again. I dare you, because I'm dying to see Quincy Carter. I'm dying to see Chad Hutchinson. All right? I'm dying to see Chad. What was his name? The ex-baseball player. I'm dying to see Vinny Testaverde as well. I'm dying to see Drew Bledsoe. I'm dying to see all these garbage-ass quarterbacks that y'all trotted out there for years. All right? I think his name was Drew Henson. All right? I'm dying for y'all to do it again. Please, do it. Cooper Rush or one of these bum-ass quarterbacks. You just drafted another dude in the 7th round. Ben DiNucci. Put his ass in the game. If you're so confident that you don't have to pay Dak, put Ben DiNucci in the damn game. See if Ben DiNucci can distribute the football to these guys and get you a Super Bowl ring. I'm just telling you, it's not as easy as you think. If you got a guy that's above average, you pay him. That's what you do in this league. Figure it out. All right? Make the numbers dance so that you can keep all the players that are worth keeping. You draft guys. You let some guys walk like you did this offseason. Figure it out. All right? Anyway, I digress. I'm telling you, if you're the Cowboys, you find a way to make sure number 4 stays in Dallas with a star on the side of his helmet for many years to come. They'll figure it out. There are no dummies down there. There are a lot of things you can call Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, and company down there in Dallas. A lot of things you can call them boys down there in Dallas now. A lot of things. Stupid ain't one of them. They'll figure it out. Let's see. Anyway, Reese says, Vernon Hargraves stinks, Lou. Look, you're a Bucs fan. I understand that. But sometimes a guy just needs a change of scenery. We'll see what happens with him. Reese says, the Chiefs played like it was midseason. Hey, look, man, when you're that good and you're that talented and you got the best player in the league and you got at least 3 or 4, maybe even 5 positions, they can lay claim to having a top 3 or better player at least 4 or 5 positions. Quarterback, there's no debating that. They've got number 1. Defensive line with Chris Jones, interior defensive tackle. To me, he's top 3. You know, Aaron Donald, DeForest Buckner, Chris Jones, Cam Hayward. These are all elite guys. But when you look at that group, to me, it's Aaron Donald, DeForest Buckner, Eric Armstead, and Chris Jones are all lumped in there after Aaron Donald. There's Aaron Donald, take 6 steps, and then it's the next guy. That next guy might be Chris Jones. And so, got another top 3 guy there. Tyrann Mathieu, are we going to argue that there are 2 safeties in the league better than him? Definitely not 3. All right, he's right there in the mix there. Travis Kelce, he's the second best tight end in football to me behind George Kittle. So I just ran off 4 guys right there, and I could keep going because we could talk about Mitchell Schwartz at right tackle. We could talk about Tyreek Hill at wide receiver. He might not be top 3 at his position, but he's the top 10 at the receiver position. So they've got guys for days, elite players at positions. That's why you can hit your stride in week 1. When you've got that much talent on the field all at once, you can hit your stride in week 1. Hey, don't forget, if you're out there watching the show, I appreciate you first and foremost, as football is back like cook crack. But if you haven't already done so, what are you waiting on? Subscribe to the Louie T Network for more great content. We're going to be doing this all year long. Also, make sure you hit that like button. Turn on that notification bell too so you don't miss a thing. And also, don't forget, I've got exclusive content on Patreon. If you're hungry for more NFL content, become a patron. I've got NFL Peak Performers. That's a look at the top performers every single week here on the Louie T Network, exclusively on Patreon. Also, the rookie wall. You got a rookie that your team drafted. See where he falls on the rookie wall. Does he climb? Does he fall? On the rookie wall, we'll be keeping tabs of the 7 best rookies and the honorable mention all year long. That's exclusive on Patreon as well. So, again, if you want more NFL content, go to Patreon, man. Become a patron and get you some. But back to the comment section. We got Estigo, who writes, Lou, how do you feel about onside kicks and the insane luck you need to pull one off? It changed what the final result could become. Any changes to the rule? I didn't love the proposed changes to the rule, but they got to do something, because the way that onside kicks are now, it's become obsolete. Like, you're not going to recover an onside kick more likely than not. It was crazy because the Falcons did it like 2 or 3 times in a row last year, but that's so rare. You got to have the ball, like, have the perfect bounce. Somebody's got to be asleep behind the wheel. And, I mean, it's almost impossible to recover an onside kick because you're not getting that running start. So, I don't know what should be done. I didn't love the proposed 4th and 15 thing because, you know, for a lot of teams, 4th and 15, that's a disaster. But for this Chiefs team, for example, that's a cake. That's like Mahomes. He tweeted out laughing at 4th and 15. Like, really? You going to give us a chance to convert 4th and 15? You know, that because, like, this is the thing. I want to beat the Chiefs. If I got the Chiefs down, 10 points late in the ball game, they score a touchdown, they need an onside kick to get in the field goal range, or I got them by 11, I got them by 12 or whatever, they score a touchdown, cut it to 5. I don't want them being able to go for it on 4th and 15. They're going to convert that and then they're going to come back and beat me. So, it's crazy because it's only who's on the end of that onside kick that makes it a debatable topic. If your team is up, you're cool with the onside kick rule the way it is because you're like, hey, we're going to win this football game. Unless something stupid happens, we're going to get us a dub. But if you're the team trailing and you want to come back, that's when the onside kick rule becomes problematic. And you're like, this is some bullshit. There's no way we're going to recover this kick. So it goes both ways. Something needs to be done. I think we can all agree that the competitive balance of the game is tilted severely in the favor of the team that's leading late in a ball game when it comes down to onside kick. It's all but impossible. I think it used to be something like a 15% chance that you could recover an onside kick. That number is all the way down to like 7% now. Like, you have almost no chance of recovering an onside kick. So something needs to be done. I just don't know what needs to be done because safety comes first. They're not going to change it back to the way that it was. So eventually they're going to have to do something, I believe. Reed says, I said the same thing. That first throw was majestic. He's talking about that Deshaun Watson throw. And you got to catch that. If you're Will Fuller, you have to catch that football. Let's see. Reed says, Antoine Winfield won the starting free safety job. Lou, I think I remember you saying he could win the starting job sooner rather than later. I talked about that on my podcast. They really like him. They love what he's been doing in camp. I'm anxious to see him play. The guy looks like a baller, and it looks like it runs in the genes in the family. If he's anything like his dad, he's going to be a hell of a football player for many years to come. Let's see. Taro's Tavern says, if Cousins can get baller money, Dak can get it. Absolutely. I mean, that's to me another guy that you got probably paid way more money than he was supposed to, but that's how it goes in this league. Reese says, do you like us adding Josh Rosen to the practice squad? Talked about that on the podcast already, so I'm not going to really elaborate on that here. But yes, I think it's a great fit for you guys and him as well. A guy says, the whole league is rooting for Dallas to get rid of Dak. Ha, 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 ha. I know there are some teams out there that would be chomping at the bit to sign Dak Prescott if he became a free agent. Again, I don't think the Cowboys are going to allow that to happen, but I can tell you this much. They've put themselves in a very precarious situation. They've set in motion the Kirk Cousins model of how you can strong arm a team to allow you to hit free agency so that you can really hit the mother load. You can't let your star quarterback get to that first franchise tag. You do that, you now put yourself in a position where he's got you by the balls. And now, if Dak Prescott wants to, he can play hardball. He can essentially name his price, and if the Cowboys don't hit it, guess what he can say? Either you can franchise me, that's going to go up another 25% or whatever that number is after that first franchise tag. So now you got to up it by, 25 or 30%, whatever that number is. So he'd be making some astronomical number if they slap the tag on him again, similar to the way Kirk Cousins raped the Washington football team. Or you hit my number. You got one or two options, or you let me walk. Either way, I'm going to get paid an ass load of money. It's either you're going to do it or I'm going to get it from someone else. So he's already won because the Cowboys failed to do the smart thing, which is find a way. Whatever that number he wanted, and what it really came down to was years. He wanted more. He wanted less years. They wanted more years. And so if that's what we're talking about, get the damn deal done. What are you doing over there? So, again, they're in trouble. They put themselves in a bad spot. Dak has all of the leverage. I got another super chat. This one is from Chris Devers. Thank you for tripling up, CD. Greatly appreciate you. My man CD writes, I get it, but Romo and now Dak, that's my boy. Look, it took you about 7 years. I'm being a little bit extra. It took you about, because Romo was 2003 out of Eastern Illinois. And Aikman was 99, I believe. He retired. So it took you 4, maybe 5 years and about 7 or 8 stinking ass quarterbacks before you landed on Tony Romo. Like, let's not do that again if you don't have to. Now, if you want to do that, I'm perfectly fine with you doing it. I'm all for it. Like I said, put Ben DiNucci in. I'd love to see it. But honestly, that's not going to happen. I can't imagine the Cowboys. They're gonna pay a pretty penny. More than they would have had to pay had they gotten this done this offseason. They're going to pay more next offseason. But again, I can't see them allowing him to walk. I don't see it happening. So we'll see what happens. But anyhow, John Perez says, Mahomes, a.k.a. Magic Pat, was throwing dimes 50, 70 yards down the field all night. Hashtag that boy is ice cold. He really didn't have too many deep throws tonight. He had the one throw to Demarcus Robinson early in the ball game. I thought he underthrew that one, actually. Allowed Justin Reed back in that play. It was a great play by Reed. Don't want to take anything away from him. But if he lays that ball out a little bit further, Demarcus Robinson had about a good 2 steps on him, maybe even 3. And he had to wait on that football. But it was a wet night. They didn't push it down the field. They didn't have to. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was eating. The short passing game was working like clockwork. They didn't really have to push it down the field all that often. Writes, DeAndre Hopkins tweeted, grateful after the Texans lose, hashtag stick it to him. Yeah, he's feeling some type of way. I can't imagine him and Bill O'Brien have the best relationship. So we'll see what happens with him in Arizona. But at the end of the day, he did the right thing. He got his money, right? That's the ultimate goal was for him to get paid. He got paid in Arizona. Got another comment here from rarely even. My man Reese says, Mahomes is the truth. I call him Patrick Star. Got one from Captain Spartan. My man Cap says, low key, I'm not scared of the Chiefs. I know you're going to say I'm talking crazy. I got confidence in my Steelers defense. Also, when James Conner goes down, hope we get Duke Johnson. Always liked him. Yeah, you're talking crazy. And I like your Chiefs. I like your Steelers defense when they're clicking on all cylinders. I just don't think your secondary is good enough to stop this Chiefs offense. But the thing that you can do that a lot of teams can't is apply pressure with T.J. Watt and Bud Dupree. I think you can get to Mahomes and at least make him a little uncomfortable back there. That's the thing that you guys have in your back pocket that a lot of teams do not. However, I don't think your Steelers can, one, outscore them. The Steelers of old, if you would have given me the Steelers, the Killer Bees Steelers, with the defense that you can play now, we might have been able to have a discussion, but I don't think your offense is what it used to be. So with that being said, we'll see. You know, it'll be interesting because a lot of football to be played. We'll see what happens. Reese says, I still think the Chiefs' corners are suspect. Yeah, I think they have some issues at the cornerback position. Even if they were healthy, I don't think their corners are top notch. However, I think at the end of the day, when you look at the Chiefs, they do a lot of things to take some of that pressure off of their corners. They get pressure, they blitz, and usually blitzing puts more pressure on your corners. But when you're coming with the amount of guys that they are coming with on some of these blitzes, and when you got a guy like Tyrann Mathieu back there that can just kind of cover so much ground, he's such a smart football player, he baits you into bad throws and decisions, you can get away with a lot of things. So anyway, at the end of the day, that's all the comments that we have. Got no more super chats, so we're going to get out of here. I thank you guys for blessing the program tonight. First game back felt like an eternity, but we got it. And I'm telling you right now, football is back. Man, does it feel good to say that. And even though this wasn't the best game, it was a game on TV nonetheless. So I'm excited to see what else a full slate of games has to offer. And I'm excited, man. Bart Scott can't wait for Sunday. In any event, I'm your man, Louie T, signing off. Remember, if it's not your man T, it's not, I repeat, not the best NFL coverage it could be. Until next time, I'm going to glide to the side. I'm going to sign off. But you guys, stay safe. Make sure you sub the channel up. Turn on your notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Hit that like button. And also check out the LouieTeeNetwork.net. Got the LTN exclusives. All right, got the Survivor Pool. Got Winners and Losers League. That's still open up until Sunday. So if you want in, you can do that. Weekly Pick'em Pool. That's closed for this week. But next week, we'll be back at it. Weekly Pick'em Pool. So many different things going on. Also, don't forget, got the merch on sale on the website. Check it out, LouieTeeNetwork.net, or you can go to the Print Champs site as well. Both of those links are down in the description of this video. Free shipping, NFL kickoff weekend to offer, a good until Sunday at 1 p.m. No shipping on your total. So take advantage of that opportunity now while it still exists. And we're doing big things over here on the Louie T Network. You guys don't miss out. We'll be doing this all year long. Don't forget about Patreon. Again, NFL Peak Performers exclusively on Patreon. Also, NFL Rookie Wall, also exclusive on Patreon. Become a patron, man. Get you some extra bonus NFL content here on the Louie T Network. Until next time, you guys stay safe. Take care of yourselves. And I'll see you next time. Have a good one.